It really, truly is no laughing matter whatsoever at all. I know at times I make light of, I try to be comical with the situations, because once you grasp it, it can bring about a very heavy spirit. And I do mean a very heavy spirit. You know, even the Bible says that money answereth all things. That doesn't mean that you pursue it, ensue it, and become so greedy that it becomes just your whole entire life. But if you do not understand the concepts and the fundamentals of just simple money, there's no way you can get the most bang for your buck. There's no way that you can actually preserve and protect yourself. There's no way that you can actually go out and purchase the things that you need in order to maximize the use of a continually dollar that is being deflated on a weekly basis. Now, over in Italy, mind you, Cyprus is the one in the news. You should check out my video and watch how many people follow my lead on that one. Cyprus is in the news, and we know what's going on over there. And most people, you know, the media is trying to run damage control, and they're doing everything that they can to rationalize this crisis. They're doing everything they can to justify this crisis. They're doing everything that they can to try to diminish and make light of this crisis. And it's always amazing the play on words that they use in America. It's not going to happen here in America. It's not going to happen in America. And that's what you want to hear. You want to hear it's not going to happen here in America, because that's what they're supposed to tell you. They're supposed to tell you that. They're supposed to get up there and say that in order to keep you to continually keep depositing more money into the account. Now, like I said, there's a lot of reevaluation that must be done and needs to be done right now. It seriously, truly does, because we're in some serious trouble. Some very, very, very serious trouble. Over in Italy, now they're talking about taking 15% out of the depositors' accounts. Did y'all hear what I said? 15% out of the depositors' account. Now, I got an example what a lot of bankers, now listen to me. Pastor Dowell is not against you wicked, low-down bankers. I'm going to try to give you a little advice. That's what I'm going to try to do. And what you need to do before you go start your car every morning. I gotta check to make sure that there ain't no bombs underneath the car. When I get in the house, I'll tell you the reason why I done it. Because if you don't start doing that, things over in Italy has a way of going boom. That is the mafia crime syndicate of the world right there. And boy, they don't like folks toying around and playing around with their bottom line. Now, if you bankers want to go and try to jack the Italians, I want to see it. Now, you know, over here in America, you're not going to see all these cars blowing up all over the place, but you have to get on, you know, go to outside media sources, grab you some nice popcorn, pull up a chair and sit back and watch the fireworks. Because if these boogers try to go to Italy and try to jack these people's accounts, we gonna see fireworks. I mean fireworks. You know why? I want to see it. See, over in Cyprus, these people don't have what people have in America. And that's the reason why they're very slow moving on America. Because you see, whether we like it or understand it or not, you know, we don't have the solutions that we think that we've got in this country right here. We are in some very serious trouble. And I'm trying my best. How do you say this? I'm trying my best to give us an understanding of what's really truly going on. Because you see, we have, and can I get y'all to just listen to me for a second? Can I get you to listen to me for a second? Listen to me. What you see going on over there in Cyprus right now has, notice I use the word has, already started to take place here in America. Let me remind you what's going on. Do you remember at the beginning of the year that the people who are second-class wage earners, W-2, do you remember how at the beginning of the year, towards the end of January, we started seeing a tax levy against our checks? Do you remember that? I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember that? Will you please respond? Do you remember that? It's just another way of stealing wealth from you. They use taxes that hasn't been approved by you, but so-called by your elected officials, or they use an executive order. And see, you got to understand, these people are deceivers. These people are diablos. And what you see happening in other countries, are you following me? You see, they have the gall and they have the firepower and they have the fight in them to know what's going on. They have dumbed down Americans. Americans are so dumb that when the same thing happens to them, we don't even realize what has just got finished taking place. And so we passively sit by and take this financial raping, not Pastor Dowell, because I know what real true wealth is. I know what commodity it is. Now I want to try to educate us here this morning. I want you to listen to me very good. Listen to me very good. You see, when they levy your check against your will, that's the same austerity measures that is going on over there in Cyprus, except they're going directly into the depositors' savings accounts and they're just flat out stealing it. Whereas with you, they just steal it from your labor when you go out, when you get paid or you so-called receive your check. And then they cut social programs that already have money to go into it to be funded because of the federal government. And they steal more wealth. You see, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but Americans, I'm going to say it again. How is it that I understand this and I'm just a simple country preacher and I live next to a creek? I got cows in my backyard. How is it that I understand this? And some of you people out there, you got so many degrees that you make a thermometer look sick and you still can't see the forest for the trees. You know, if you accept lies, you live lies. It's hard for somebody to try to tell you something because, you know, we're so prideful in this country. You know, Pastor Dowell, I don't have a degree. Do I have college? Yeah, I'm a few credits short of an associate's, but I'm never going to complete it. I promise you that. You know why? Because I found out that my own independent education, which used to be something that people would look at greatly, now it's frowned upon because the system can no longer control you. That's the reason why they want you to go to school, so they can have your mind to be shaped and function a certain way that you can only function inside of the box. I think outside of the box. And because I think outside of the box, it's up to me, because whether people like it or not, people do listen to me. And they consider carefully what I say. And I'm trying my best to get a hold of the people who have money to keep what you got so you don't lose it and put it into tangible assets. Because you are the people that demonstrate that you understand what's going on. And you got somebody that don't have money, they don't care. As soon as they get in their little hands, it's gone. It's gone. So they have never practiced saving in their life. So you can't trust them for financial advice, because they're not going to give you the correct financial advice. They're not going to. If somebody do not have anything to show for all their fruits of their labors, common sense, which has become so uncommon, tells you not to listen to these people. Now, ask yourself a question. Do the people over in Cyprus have guns? No, but Americans do. So therefore, the system has to use deceptive ways to get around. Because, you know, Americans, they are not that dumb to know that, okay, if I go to my bank and all of a sudden I find out that 40% of my savings is automatically gone, and you do that across this country, there's going to be a lot of holes in the bank, and I guarantee that the bankers won't show up to work that morning. What's amazing to me is that we got police officers and officials in this country because of a job, and they see the economic collapse is going on. These people will do everything they can, including protect the bankers, the people who are looting, who are robbing, who are raping, and who are pillaging the people of this country. Because remember, the government can't produce anything. They can only take. And they take from the fruit of the labors through high taxation without representation from your so-called elected officials. And your so-called elected officials, hey, they don't care about the little small money that they get from you as your elected officials, 100, 200,000. Why? When they got all these other corporations lining their pockets to the tune $3, $4, $5, $6 million. Is it not remarkable and amazing? Yeah, that's right. Pastor Dowell is going to say the stuff that all these other people get on here refuse to say. They don't want to say, and they're scared half to death to say. Is it not remarkable and amazing how that these people run for elected office? They're not rich, but boy, by the time they get out, whoo, they are not only rich, but they are filthy rich. You know why? Because they have been taking bribes at your expense and your cost. Let me see if I get this thing right. Banks fail. The federal government and the bankers, the international bankers, they move in to preserve and to protect the banks that fail with bailouts. You fail, they move in, and they send you to jail. And the only way that the banks can exist is if you put money into their banks. Now, we got to ask ourselves some intelligent questions here this morning. To what purpose is it today? And to what benefit is it for us today to actually put money into the bank when every time we turn around, we getting jacked? Think about this for a second. Let's say, because I got some people here right now on the land, that they don't owe the IRS nothing. And you know what they're doing? They are jacking their paycheck $1,000 a check or a month. Do you listen to me? They're listening to me. Simply because they can go in and do it because you're in the system. And the burden of proof is on you. And they're going to keep on taking it until they get what they got. You think about this for a second. So anytime you think you're getting by, if you leave your money in the bank, the system is already designed and set up to go and levy your account without your knowledge. And when you go there, let me see what we're going to do. Let's go through the stages of what we're going to do. We're going to be peed off. We're going to be upset. We're going to be mad. We're going to kick. We're going to scream. We're going to holler. Some of us are going to cuss and say 4-letter words. And that's it. Because, see, you automatically assume that when you put your money into a bank, that your deposits are secure, that they are guaranteed, that you're going to get your money back, and they are insured by, look at this, the FDIC, which they repealed that in 2011, and they're not going to tell you that. So we have to reevaluate the way that we function. We have to reevaluate this environment that we find ourselves in today, because it's definitely not a benefit to us, the people. Let me say the thing I've always said before. If you don't have your money in your hands where you can actually physically reach out and touch it without jumping into a vehicle and going and getting it, it's not yours. I'm going to tell you the painful truth. You take your money, you stick it into a bank with the hopes of everything functioning the way they used to do 20, 30 years ago. You deserve exactly what you get. I deserve exactly what I get, because you know what's happening? What's happening is this. You put your money in the bank, you're giving it over to them who at any given time, because I'm proud to be an American, and ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And your country says, we're going to jack your savings account. But you know how Cyprus rebelled against all this tyranny? We ain't going to work. What do you think about that? We don't care if the whole country go down. I wonder if Americans have that kind of intestinal fortitude. I hope I said something to stimulate your thought. If I didn't, don't worry. Just go away and be happy and have a good day.